In Chapter 5, we are going to be looking at different sided figures, which are called polygons, and the first one we're going to look at is very familiar to you, and it is the triangle. And on this page is just a review. You can find it in your textbook of the different ways that you can classify triangles. One is by the angle measure, which is acute, obtuse, or right, and the other is by side length, which means equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. Scalene meaning no two sides are the same. Isosceles, two sides the same, and equilateral, all three sides are the same, and therefore there's relationships among the angles in the side. So here's just an example of a situation that we might look at. We have a skylight that's shown, and this is the glass on each side, and we're supposed to figure out the measure of each angle. Well, you can see that angle A, B, and C are within a triangle where all three sides are the same. And if all three sides are the same, that means all three angles are the same. And we know inside a triangle that all the angles add up to 180. So those angles all have to be 60 degrees. In this triangle on the left, B, we are looking for angle A, and we see there is a right triangle there. And when we are dealing with a right triangle and we want to find an angle, we have a number of different tools that we can look at to find that angle, but the most easy way is to consider your trig functions, remembering that sine of any angle, and I'll use B, is opposite over hypotenuse, and the opposite side is 7.4 over 8. You could also use cosine, which is the adjacent side, 3.1 over the hypotenuse of 8, and you could also use tan, which is opposite over adjacent. And in any of those situations, as long as your calculator is on degrees, and you should take your calculator out if you have it with you, and try and remind yourself how to solve these. And the basic idea is you're going to use your shift or second function sine button and enter in 7.4 divided by 8. You could also use second function cosine or tan. Just your numbers would change according to which one you would use. And when I type that in, I find that angle B is 67.7 degrees rounded off. If we look at C, again, just a different triangle here. We have a isosceles triangle. And in an isosceles triangle, we have the two sides that are the same, the 7 and the 7, and then we have the bottom side as being 6. And we're supposed to find the measure of this side 6. So in order for us to do that, we're going to have to introduce what's called an altitude, which would go straight down and then make a, cut this exactly in half, and then you'd have 90-degree corners there. And so in order for us to find B, what we would do is we would first use one of the right triangles right here to find angle B. So relative to B, we know that this is going to be 3 feet, and the hypotenuse is going to be 7, so we would use that the cosine of angle B is the adjacent side 3 over the hypotenuse 7. You'd press second function cosine and get your angle, and I'll go ahead and do that right now. And once you've done that, you know that angle B and angle C are going to be the same because it's the exact same situation on opposite sides of the same triangle. So here I find that B, when I press second function cosine, is 64.6. And again, you should be taking your calculator and practicing this so that at least you know that you need to ask if you're not sure how to use your calculator. So again, just another problem where this is going to show up. You're going to have to deal with what type of triangle is this? What does that mean for the angles? You're going to have to label your angles carefully. I'm not going to do this problem for you, but you can see even within this picture, it appears that there are 3 different triangles, 3 different types of triangles. One that is obtuse. You can see this angle here is greater than 90. One that's exactly 90, so that's a right triangle. And then we have an acute triangle. I wonder what that's going to mean for the angles and for the sides. And when you get there, questions like this and you're stuck, make sure you ask me about it. So in this section, make sure you check for definitions, include them on your definitions page. Build your skills done, ask questions about it, make sure you're right on top of it so you can show me that you have mastered these triangles and you can achieve your goals. Otherwise, I'm here to help you, and I will see you soon.